Hello everyone, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will be going over why some people might be hiding insecurities with their natural hair by using box braids. I would also love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section.
For me, I'm at a place in my journey with my hair where I just want it to flourish as it is and experience wearing it without any add-ons, without a wig on. And I've been done with that for since April, which is April, May, June, July, August. Wow, oh my God, this is crazy. It's been 6 months since I've been doing this. And actually the veil has lifted. The scales have fallen off of my eyes. And when I look at myself, I can't even imagine myself with box braids in. I just can't. And I also I cringe at the tightness because I'm tender-headed. Let's talk about that real quick.
I can relate to her story. When I had relaxed hair, I did braid my hair quite often and I had no issues with braiding my hair at that time. But when I went natural, the first time I went natural, I got my hair braided and my scalp would itch and it felt very inflamed. And when I took the braids down, my hair would feel very brittle, and even though I moisturize it, it would still feel very dry and brittle. I remember going to so many different hair salons, but every single one of them handled my hair poorly, and the braids would be so tight and my hairline started to disappear. So after my second big chop, I decided to try braids again because I still didn't think it was the hair extensions that were giving me a problem. I just thought maybe it was the hairstylist. And so I went to a different hairstylist, same issues. I faced the same issues. And then that was when I had knotless braids. And then in December, I went to a different hairstylist in a different city, same problem. My hair hated it. And that's when I figured out, okay, maybe it's the hair extensions, because if I don't have them on and I still braid my hair is fine. So this all happened last year, 2023. The last time I actually braided my hair with hair extensions was in December, and I only kept those on for a week. I had a straight back and I kept those on for a week. My hairline hated it. My scalp, as I mentioned, it felt horrible, and it's just, when it was so tight to a point where I couldn't sleep, and so I was like, no, I'm not keeping these on for more than a week. I need to take these out. And so at the start of 2024, I made a bet with myself that I want to go through this whole year without using hair extensions, and my hair and scalp has been feeling a whole lot better with that decision. I have been switching between mini braids and mini twists with my own natural hair, so I'm not adding any hair extensions, I'm just braiding my own hair. And this has been the best decision for me because I have access to not just my scalp but also the strands of my hair. And so I would definitely, say that you should give it a try. If you don't want to, that's okay. I don't think that hair extensions are bad for everyone, but if you feel like every time you get hair extensions your scalp feels weird or your hair feels weird, maybe you should try braiding your hair without added extensions. And I also get the part where she says when she can't imagine herself with the hair extensions, and honestly it's the same for me. When I first started, I definitely felt a bit of sadness because I love box braids, I love knotless braids, I love all types of braids. I think they're gorgeous, and so the thought of me not being able to do those kind of bothered me. But as I continued wearing my natural hair with the mini twists, with the mini braids, I started appreciating the way that I looked. I started liking the way that I looked, and so I also can't imagine myself with hair extensions now because I've kind of grown to fall in love with myself with just my natural hair and learning how to style my hair. Well, when I say style, I just mean perfecting how to braid my hair and part. I'm learning how to part my hair with braids, but with mini twist I don't bother parting it, I just grab and go. So I would definitely recommend you trying to braid your hair without any added hair extensions.
One thing I haven't touched on, but God has been putting it on my heart to touch on it because he knows I'm literally I'm skipping around it. I'm dodging. I just don't want to talk about it because it's a lot of people's crutch. It's a lot of people's escape. It's a lot of people's way, a lot of Black women's ways of feeling like, oh, I still love myself. And again, I'm not saying that you don't, right? God has been trying to tell me, you need to talk about box braids. You need to talk about knotless braids. You need to talk about these extensions, these synthetic hair, blah, blah. It can't just be about wigs. You got to talk about that too, because that doesn't naturally grow out of people's scalps. And it is also, for some, maybe many, it's a form of escapism. It's a form of hiding behind a feeling of lack, a feeling of, ooh, I'm not enough with my natural hair. Oof, I do need a little bit more length to frame my face. Ooh, I do need a little bit extra to look a little attractive.
We always talk about how some women are insecure because they wear wigs, but we never talk about others being insecure and hiding behind hair extensions. Now, as she mentioned, we are not saying that hair extensions are bad and everyone who wears hair extensions is insecure and everyone should stop wearing hair extensions. Absolutely not. This video and her video is for those who use hair extensions as a cover-up and think that it's okay just because it's not a wig. So I have a story of my own. During my first natural hair journey, I had some issues with my hair. I do have a video explaining everything, but to summarize it, instead of cutting my hair and starting over again, I held onto it and didn't want to face the reality that my hair was damaged. And as a result, I continued wearing braids, even though they caused even more damage to my hair. I held onto the braids because I only found myself attractive when I had braids, but once they came off, it was a different story. Fortunately for me, I had a serious come to Jesus moment and realized that the more I hid behind the braids and delayed starting my second journey to healthier hair, the worse my insecurities got and the worse my issues with my hair became. So I got my big girl panties on and went for my second big chop and started all over again. For some of us, although it is very difficult to admit, we use braids as a way to not deal with our hair and have convinced ourselves that because we aren't wearing lace fronts, we are better than those who do or are not as insecure. But we probably are. We probably have the same insecurities. I know you've probably seen so many videos from the natural hair community or anybody who's natural talk about why people shouldn't wear wigs, why people shouldn't wear lace fronts and all of that. But we never really address how braids or protective styles with added hair can also be bad if not done properly, but also not done for the right reasons. We never talk about how, she mentioned that a lot of people can and are insecure if they have braids back to back and never show their natural hair. But again, because it's not a wig, it's okay. But it really isn't okay. It's not okay. If you are never ever showing your natural hair or giving, your hair a quote unquote a break, you have a problem, you have an issue. Even if you're not wearing a wig, the fact that you only feel attractive wearing hair extensions is also a problem.
Let's fast forward to adulthood. Girl, you would wonder why I had pictures and videos here. I have pictures on Instagram. I have videos here of me with back-to-back box braids, back-to-back extension styles. You would think, girl, if your hair no longer likes these extension styles and your hair is literally breaking off piece by piece, why are you still doing box braids? Why are you still doing knotless? Why are you still doing these Senegalese twists? Why? Well, I wanted to be pretty. I wanted to look attractive. I wanted to, it was a garnish. I wanted to garner, is that the word? Garnish? Garnish your wages. I wanted to get compliments. I feel like when I was doing styles, it was always to seek validation. And when I thought about my styles, it was always about, okay, how many compliments will I be getting with this hairstyle? How many people will turn their heads and look at me? How cute will I look in this picture? How proud will I be to take a selfie? Will I be comfortable to take a selfie? Will I feel pretty when I post this picture? A lot of those thoughts would come into my mind. And the comfortability piece too. Will I be comfortable walking out the house with this hairstyle? And when I thought about, in the past, when I thought about my natural hair versus box braids, it was always an easy choice. Duh, of course I'm going to do box braids. Duh, of course I'll, destroy my natural hair, destroy my hair, period.
I think this can be very true for quite a lot of us. Like I mentioned earlier, I was one of those people who did braids even though I knew the problems they were causing for me. And she mentions a great point of her doing it for a compliment. And that's the same for me. I thought I was the only one who felt this way, but it's good to hear that there's another person who feels this way, and we are acknowledging that this is a problem. I think that for a lot of Black women, we know what our issue is. As in, we know that maybe that wig or that lace front is damaging your hairline. You know that those braids with added hair extensions are thinning out your hair, but you continue to do it because, as she mentioned, you want that compliment. And there is nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting a compliment. Everyone, it's human nature. We all like getting compliments. The problem starts when you obsess over it, when you want validation from other people to a point where you are damaging your own natural hair. That's where the issue is, and that's what we're talking about. That's what her video is, or at least that's what I'm getting from her video. The problem with constantly wanting a compliment from others or validation from others is that you end up putting your own needs, what you need, at the back of your mind. So yes, you got that compliment, but at what cost? You keep damaging your hair just for a compliment when you could instead just focus on the health of your hair. Focus on growing your natural hair, focus on making sure that everything's okay on your scalp and all of that, and then you can still get compliments with your natural hair. And I know there's probably going to be someone in my comment section who's going to say something like, oh, but men don't like natural hair and all of that. I've had, in my last video, I've had someone say that, and even though I made a point in that video and my other videos that you need to be your natural self, and you will attract the right people to be around you who will love you for who you are. But even then, I don't want people to think that they have to do certain things or do certain hairstyles to attract people. You should have your natural hair because that's what you want to do. You should have that wig because that's what you want to do. I've been seeing a lot of videos of whether or not Black men like natural hair and all of that. And I've read the comment section, and it's great to read that a lot of people agree with what I'm saying, that there is a group of people who do like natural hair. But the reason why I'm not making that video is I don't even want you to think about that when you decide to go on your natural hair journey. I think the problem with a lot of people is some of us fail to understand that you're not going to be attractive to everyone. Not everyone is going to find you attractive, and that's okay. And so for me, when I went on my natural hair journey, I was not thinking about who am I going to attract, who's going to think this, who's going to think that. I was solely focused on just getting my hair healthy and being able to be my natural self out in public.
But why? Why still hide behind box braids? Why still lean into box braids in such an aggressive way that I'm literally losing my edges? I had traction alopecia for months, maybe years even. Traction alopecia, baby. I was at the dermatologist. I got a biopsy. But I wouldn't let go of box braids, having this knowledge of what they were doing to my hair.
There will be some people who will lie to themselves and say things like, oh, it's a protective style. I'm wearing these braids all the time because it's a protective style. But the hair that they claim to be protecting is being damaged by the hairstyle that they have. Your hairline is disappearing because your braids are so tight. The lengths of your hair, the synthetic hair is ripping through your hair. All these things, they are aware of them, but because they don't want to admit that there's an issue, there's an underlying issue, they will continue claiming, oh, it's just a protective style. How is it a protective style? But when you take that hairstyle out, your hair is still the same length. You haven't grown anything, you haven't grown inches, you haven't grown thickness, nothing. It's still the same. It's not protecting you from anything. It's making your hair worse. We need to stop holding on to damaged hair. We need to let it go and start over. I think another reason why people continue to... I mentioned this earlier. I'm sure I mentioned that the reason why at least I kept braids in, I was afraid of starting over. I think that's the problem, is that we are afraid of starting over. But we shouldn't fear starting a healthier hair journey. the sooner you let go of that damage, the sooner you'll be able to get to healthier hair.
Just so I can get a compliment, just so I can like feel comfortable. Bruh, comfortability comes with time. Comfortability comes with effort. Like for me right now, I'm so comfortable in front of this camera. I'm so comfortable leaving my house with my natural hair. And when I look in the mirror, it's like I've trained just by like not doing the extension styles. I've reprogrammed my mind to seeing this as the default.
I know I'm probably beating a dead horse by saying this point, because I've said it multiple times in my other videos as well, is the more you wear your natural hair, the more comfortable you will become. I love the point she made that her wearing her natural hair has become the default. It should be like that for everyone. So to whoever just started their natural hair journey, or if you're already on your natural hair journey, I want you to know that you are beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. There's absolutely nothing wrong with your coily hair. There's nothing wrong with your tight curls.